Hi, I'm Auden Johnson, and today I'll be reading a passage from my upcoming book, Chains of the Sciell. It's book 2 of my Emerging World series. You can enjoy it without having read book 1. Chains of the Sciell will be released June 2nd. Now, the passage I'm going to read for you today is a really fun one. The characters have been kidnapped and trapped in this town called Silhouette. Well, that's clearly not the fun part. At this point in the book is the first time all of the characters are interacting. They're still trapped, but now they're trapped together. And the characters are really aggressive. They see a boundary and they make a point of crossing it. They don't particularly care if it insults the other person or makes them angry, but that's what makes their interaction so fun. So, to the book. Divine glanced up from his coffee as Josephine walked in the kitchen. Interesting. Cora always woke in the morning, like she spent the night standing up. Josephine, on the other hand, looked like she was run over repeatedly. She trusted him, grabbed his mug out of his hand, and tucked into his coffee. Divine was amused. He decided not to lay into her. Was she even aware of her unpleasant appearance? Besides, Alessandra will have a few words for her. That's good, she sighed. She looked at Divine as though she hadn't known he was there. Good morning. Do you always look like this in the morning, or did you sleep on a bed of needles? She turned one eye to him. The expression did nothing for her haggard appearance. You're worse than your sister. How hard is it to say, you look awful? Divine shrugged. What would be the fun in that? How'd you sleep? She asked. I didn't. Divine poured himself some more coffee without milk and sugar. Like midnight prison, the house had everything he needed. Jugs of coffee, tea, orange juice, and food sat on an old counter. Glowing red energy danced in a stone stove. It was hot. It heated his coffee. Divine preferred preparing his own food. He also woke up to clothing folded in a corner of his room. His wardens must have supplies somewhere else. They transported it to Silhouette several times a day. What do we do now? We won't find any answers here. We should find a way out of here, Josephine said, propping her hip against the table. It rocked. Divine gripped the table before she knocked it and his food over. Something thumped on the second floor. He'd been surprised when Alessandra and Blade decided they'd be the ones to share a room. He was even more surprised when he walked by that room late last night and heard them talking amiably. It was strange seeing them act like adults. Divine grabbed a banana from the counter and handed it to Josephine. She shook her head. Divine didn't withdraw. She hadn't eaten breakfast since yesterday. Her aura was drooping. The house conjured the food for them. She might as well eat it. Josephine took the banana. His patience and her lack of patience meant he always won. Divine tucked into his own apple. Alessandra walked in the kitchen, followed by Blay. Like Josephine, Alessandra wore only a shirt, no pants. Alessandra's shirt, though, didn't cover her butt, and she wasn't wearing a bodice. Good thing he didn't care much about the flesh. Get to telling her about our brother? Alessandra asked as she took Divine's new coffee mug and his half-eaten apple. He didn't need Alessandra and Josephine acting alike. Alessandra locked the apple in her mouth and poured more coffee in the mug, then added a great helping of milk and sugar. How could you drink plain coffee? Tastes like a homeless person used it as bathwater. He never drank coffee again. Blade walked to the coffee jug. It was empty. He snatched the mug from Alessandra and sipped. A little less sugar next time. These people had no respect for personal space. From Alessandra's deepening glare, she was about to flatten Blade. Divine had enough. It was too early for this. His stomach grumbled. He had allowed both Josephine and Alessandra to take his breakfast instead of beating both of them for crossing the line. He woke up early because he wanted a moment where he didn't have to contemplate anything serious. And then Josephine came in her sad aura. Answers be damned. He wanted to go home, away from these aggravating people. Divine stood. I could care less what you do. I need food. I'm going back to that mansion. He was choosing the mansion's food over this place. How far he had fallen. Wow, Josephine, you look uglier than ever, Alice scolded. I'm scared to be near you. I can feel the ugly oozing off of you. Josephine's response was brutal. Devine walked out as an awkward silence took the kitchen. So, I hope you enjoyed the passage. So, Chains of the Shield will be released June 2nd. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Bye.